أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله الحمد لله الملك الديان القوي السلطان الحنان المنان الذي كل يوم هو في شأن أحمده في كل وقت وأشكره في السر والإعلان أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له شهادة خالصة بالقلب واللسان وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله الذي أرسله الله تعالى بالحق والبيان. معاشر الحاضرين، إن شهر رمضان قد عزم على الانصراف. أين العيون الباكية وأين القلوب الخاشعة من خشية الله الملك الديان؟ كم سمعتم موعظة في القرآن كل من عليها فان. فإن شهر رمضان قد دنا وقت رحيله وفراقه، ولم يبق عندكم إلا كغيث طارق أو حبيب مفارق. ألا إن فراق الأحباب مر المزاد. فأين من كسر فيه العمل الصالح؟ فقد رحي الصائمون وخسر المبتلون. فودئوا شهركم بالسخوات والعبرات والسواكب، وقولوا السلام عليك يا شهر القرآن، عليك يا شهر المغفرة والعتق من النيران. السلام عليك يا عمار القلوب، السلام عليك يا شهر كفارة الذنوب، السلام عليك يا شهر فيه ليلة هي خير من 1000 الشهر. الوداع 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 يا شهر رمضان، الوداع الوداع يا شهر نزول القرآن، الوداع الوداع يا شهر فيه ليلة هي خير من 1000 الشهر. السلام عليك السلام عليك يا شهر الصدقات والزكاة والصيام والصلاة. السلام عليك يا شهر رغب التسليم. السلام عليك يا شهر التهليل والتكبير. السلام عليك يا خير قابل استقبل ويا خير راحل مسافر الوداع الوداع يا شهر رمضان الوداع الوداع يا شهر القرآن الوداع الوداع يا شهر الزكاة والصدقات. أما بعد، فقال الله تبارك وتعالى في كلام القديم فرقان المجيد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات. وأصدر بيان آخر جمعة ماہ رمضان مبارک. افسوس تو رخصت ہوا ہے ماہ مبارک الوداع. رو رو کے دل نے یوں کہا ہے ماہ مبارک الوداع. معاشر الحاضرین, devotees of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has assembled us here on this spiritual farewell as we say to Ramadan today, Al-Wada, Al-Wada, Ya Shahr Ramadan. We say to Ramadan today, farewell, farewell, farewell. Shahr al-Quran, the month of the Quran, that Allah Azza wa Jal has sent down the Quran hudan lin-nas, that He has sent down the Quran as a guidance to all mankind. We thank Allah and we praise Him and we glorify Him who has selected us and favored us, that we have witnessed the month of Ramadan. We have benefited from the month of Ramadan. We waited at the time of suhoor and we were very conscious of the time that we did not eat over the time of stop eating. We submitted our nafs, we submitted our desires to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in compliance with His command. كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. O you who believe, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before, that you may become conscious of your duties to Almighty Allah. Ahbabi, my beloved ones, today we are assembled to pay spiritual farewell to this month that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us an opportunity to re-identify ourselves with the ummah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And He has taught us through the lips of our beloved Prophet alayhi salatu wa salam, Man sama Ramadana imanan wa ihtisaban ghufira lahu ma taqaddama min dhanbi. Whosoever fast in the month of Ramadan with iman, with submission to the commitments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with full expectation that he or she will be forgiven, Allah Rabbul Alameen will grant us forgiveness. Rabbul Alameen, Lord of the entire universe, have saved us and prepared us for this month. 6 months prior to the coming of Ramadan, we said, Allahumma ballighna Ramadan. Oh Allah, cause me to witness this month. We are here in this month. Kam sami'tum. How many lectures and reminders we did not listen to? Have we benefited from this month? Or this month of Ramadan will take me back in the month of Shawwal as the month that when I started Ramadan in Sha'ban. ألا إن فراق الأحباب مر المزاق. The separation of someone who you have been attached to. That guest who came to your home and became part of your family union, to separate from that person when he or she is leaving, murrul mazaq, it is the most detested thing to say wida to that person, to say farewell to that person when he or she is leaving. And this is Ramadan. We became attached to Ramadan, that we waited on the time to stop eat in the morning, and we were conscious at the time of suhoor, and we waited at the time of the eve of the azan to break our fasting, surrendering ourselves and our nafs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The masajid were brightened up with the lights, but not the electric lights, the spiritual light of the Quran, the recitation of the Quran that attracted us to the masajid. It now comes to our time that it is about to say farewell to us. It is about to depart from us. أين العيون الباقية من خشية الرحمن ديان? Where are the eyes that will come into tears because of the fearing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Are we assured that we will live for another Ramadan to come? Allah has given us the opportunity here. We still have a few days. We still have 2, 3, 4 days to complete this submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and a time to gain spiritual cleansing. Ramadan is a month of spiritual cleansing. That it is an opportunity for us now to cleanse our nafs, to cleanse our heart. When our mouth and our lips are in a state of fasting, we do not backbite, or we do not engage in gossiping or speak bad of someone. All of this tarbiyah that we have achieved in this month of Ramadan, I beg of you, all brothers and sisters and children, let us sustain them out of the month of Ramadan. Or else, we would have not achieved anything in the month of Ramadan. At the time of Eid al-Fitr, it is not a celebration of the completion of fasting, but it is a celebration of our submission to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and with a firm commitment on the day of Eid al-Fitr to remain steadfast in the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ikhwani wa akhawati, brothers and sisters and children, let us use this day as a moment now to engage ourselves with Allah with a commitment. رَبَّنَا ظَلَمْنَا أَنفُسَنَا. As Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam stood on the Mount of Arafah, and he said, Rabbi, oh my Lord, ظَلَمْتُ نَفْسِي, I have wronged myself. I have committed zulm to my own self. Let each and every one of us here today turn to Allah and do muhasabah to ourselves. Let us examine ourselves in front of Allah today. Am I satisfied with the lifestyle that I have carried in the past? No. Then make sincere repentance at this moment. Today is the last khutbah or Jumu'ah in this blessed month. Today is an odd day in this month. It is the 25th day. Today is the day of Eid of the week. Today is a day in the month of Ramadan al-Mubarak. Today Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will convey the salams to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam with special angels that He has sent in our midst. Today is the day when we send salam to our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. In Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala, wukana, He appoints angels to transfer that salam to Madinatul Munawwarah. And Allah Azza wa Jal, when you give one salam today to Rasulullah, Allah, not Rasul, course, he alayhi salatu wasalam will respond. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is responding 10 times to you. You're speaking to Allah today. Zalamtu nafsi. I've wronged myself. I've deceived myself. I committed zulm to myself, O Allah. وَإِن لَمْ تَغْفِرْ لَنَا. And if you don't forgive us, O Allah, لَنَكُونَنَّ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. I'll be among the wrongdoers, O Allah. Ahbabi, as we are now in the conclusion of this month of Ramadan, let us note that we still have to seek the night of Laylatul Qadr. مَنْ قَامَ لَيْلَةَ الْقَدْرِ إِيمَانًا وَاحْتِسَابًا غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنبِهِ. Whosoever stand in the night of Laylatul Qadr in a state of iman and expectation that Allah will forgive him, غُفِرَ لَهُ مَا تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنبِهِ. Allah will wash away all his sins like the day he came from his mother without any sin. This is a Muslim. This is a season. This is a season of getting closer to Allah subhanahu. This is a time that every hour counts now. We should be counting the hours and we should be counting the minutes and the seconds. Sleep less in these days. This is not the time to sleep. This is the time to create an account in the bank of Allah subhanahu. It is a moment now. For those who did not took out their zakah as yet, it is wajib. It is compulsory. This is not a matter of choice. As long as you have the savings that you have saved for more than a year span, all that you have saved in the past, you have to pay 2.5%, or else that halal sustenance, risk that Allah has given to you, it will become scorpions and will come against you in your grave. It begins from the grave when you are there. So do not be a miser to your own self in this world and leave it behind. When you die, it will be used against you and it will be used unislamically. Be the one who can write your checks down and give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Look at the people who are starving in many parts of this world, who did not eat a meal for weeks, perhaps, a solid meal for weeks. Look at certain parts in the globe. The children, in the midst of the cold and they're shivering, they do not have a bed to put their head. Be part of it. Thank Allah. Look at the person who is worse than you and know how fortunate you are in the sight of Allah. Take a walk through the hospitals and then you will see and admire your state and status of life. Ayyuhal ahbab, it is allowed for us to start paying the Sadaqatul Fitr at this time. The purpose of the Sadaqatul Fitr is a twofold. It purifies our fasting. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not accept the fasting until and unless the Sadaqatul Fitr is being delivered. And this is very serious. Even if you were exempted from fasting, it is still mandatory upon you to pay the Sadaqatul Fitr. It is the responsibility of the head of household to pay on behalf of himself, his wife, and all his minor children. Even if the baby is born on the morning of Eid al-Fitr, the father is still expected to pay on behalf of that baby. And if the baby was not delivered on the morning, if he still wishes to pay, it is khair and barakah. It is good and blessed for him. Sadaqatul Fitr this year, it differs. You can start from $5 to about $15. It depends on which commodity that you use in the calculation of it, dates, barley, and so on. But remember, if you pay your Sadaqatul Fitr after the Eid Salah, it will not be considered as Sadaqatul Fitr. It will be considered as a Sadaqah, as a charity. So please give your Sadaqatul Fitr starting from today. If there are relatives among your family members who are poor and deserves your Sadaqatul Fitr, then it is binding upon you to deliver it to them first. to make sure that your immediate relatives, friends, and family, that they have a beautiful Eid. And if there is no avenue among your family and relationship, then you bring it to the masjid. The community will disperse it on your behalf. So pay your zakah, make sure you go home, you sit with all your assets, you include your wife, your children, and evaluate all your properties. The jewelry, the gold and silver jewelry that your wife owns, that you have gifted her from time to time, the mahar that you have given to her at the time of marriage, all of this is zakatable, or else on the day when you go into the grave, it becomes scorpions and it comes to attack you. This is the property of the poor. This is the property of the needy. This is the property of the orphans. This is the property of the destitute. This is the property of the one who comes back to Islam. This is the property of a traveler. If he is in a state of want and he is in a state that he has no money to continue his journey, well then he can receive from the zakat. Ayyuhal ahbab, make sure that you now start praying extra nafil in the nights. Seek in the night of Laylatul Qadr. And Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, she said, she asked the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, Ya Rasulullah, if I was to find the night of Laylatul Qadr, ma aqulu fiha, what is it should I say in this night? If I was to find, if I was to see this night and discover this night of Laylatul Qadr, faqala laha, alayhi salatu wasalam taught her this beautiful dua. He said to her so lovingly, say, Allahumma innaka afuwan tuhibbul afwa fa'afu anni. Oh Allah, you love to forgive, you love to pardon. This is the attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He pardons us. From the time we say to him, Allah, oh Allah, forgive me, he pardons us. Once you do it sincerely. Allahumma innaka afuwan. Oh Allah, you love to forgive. This is your hobby. Fa'afu anni, oh Allah. I turn to you and I present myself, nafsi, myself, that I have done injustice and I've done all the wrong things in the past. I come to you seeking the path of forgiveness, Lord. Pardon me. Let me meet with you on that day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, and my face will be bright. And you will say to me, oh Allah, you will say to me, oh Abdi, oh my servant, now enter into the Jannah that I have prepared for you. You are my servant. You are the one who have submitted to me. You did not allow your sleeping to overcome you. You slept less. You give to others. And you prevented your own self. You give that meal to someone else in preference to yourself. You have given to the establishment of my house and you show preference to my house than your own home. Let us, each and every one of us, identify an Islamic project this year and be part of it. Brothers and sisters, Alexander the Great, when he died and he was leaving, before, this was his wasiyah. He said, when I die, put my hands out of my coffin. I came into this world like this, my fist was closed. He became the conqueror and the owner of half of this world and what it contains. But when he died and he was going back to Allah, he took nothing. His palms were open. Ahbabi, Ikhwani, Akhawani, we are in the blessed moments. These are the most blessed days of the year. On the morning of Eid, when it has been declared, we will start from the night prior at Maghrib Salah to recite the Takbirat. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Walillahil hamd. Giving thanks and praise to Allah. And we say, oh Allah, you are the greatest And we will sung the takbir from the time of Salat al-Maghrib, Salat al-Isha, until the Eid al-Fitr Salat is completed. Let us all make our intention that this year Eid will be the best year Eid in my life. That this Eid will bring to me a moment of submission to Allah, and I will surrender my nafs, and I will surrender myself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وشفينا وطبيب قلوبنا سيدنا مولانا محمد أرسله الله تعالى بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا. أما بعد فقد قال الله تعالى مخبرا وآمرا في شأن حبيبه إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد وبارك وسلم وصلوا عليه صلاة وسلاما عليك يا سيدي يا حبيبي يا رسول الله. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وعلى أزواجه وذرياته وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا. عباد الله، Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us in the Holy Quran, مُخْبِرًا وَآمِرًا. This is a command that he himself is engaged in doing. Sending salam to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. I want to leave 10 points with you today. That will increase your love for Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And you will connect yourself with Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And if you are connected with Rasul alayhi salatu wasallam, you are connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rasul alayhi salatu wasallam taught us that when we give salams to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasallam, to him, he will be received. First and foremost, we cannot make a dua to Allah. There is no dua except that we recite the Darud Sharif before and after. Then that dua reaches Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The dua is suspended if we do not send salams to the Prophet. Remember this. You want your duas to be accepted? Send 20 salam. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa barik wa sallam. Any format of the rule. You increase your salam to the Prophet ﷺ, you will die with the kalima of La ilaha illallah on your lips. وَمَنْ كَانَ آخِرُ كَلَامَهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهُ دَخَلَ الْجَنَّةِ. And whosoever the last words of him that he or she has uttered on his dying bed, if it's La ilaha illallah, that person goes straight to Jannah. If you increase your darood and salam to the Prophet ﷺ, Allah will bring the Prophet ﷺ and present him to you in your dreams. You will be connected to Rasul ﷺ. Rasul ﷺ will be your role model. your children be blessed. Everyone wants their children to be blessed. The dua of a parent to a child, oh Allah bless my child. You want your children to be blessed? Connect with Rasulullah. Your provision, your sustenance will be made easy for you. Your suffering in this world will be decreased. You will get closer to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you will receive the greatest type of care and protection from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be pleased with you. Ahbabi, today we are all blessed. I'm so happy to see all of you here. You are the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This year was This is the biggest gift that you can thank Allah for in the year. You are the guest of Allah on the most blessed day of the week. You are summoned to Jumu'ah. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha nudiya lis-salati min yawm al-jumu'ah fas'aw ila zikrillah. Run to the remembrance. You have answered to that call. You're all blessed. Allah loves you. Keep this type of spirit in your home. I beg of you, today as you're leaving, every act of righteousness that you will do from now to the time of when the Eid is declared, let that be act of worship now. Of giving. If you give charity now, these days are virtuous. These hours are virtuous. The reward is not equal like if you give out of Ramadan. It is multiplied by 70 and by 10, by 700. If you give $1, it's like you're giving $700. I'm asking everyone here today, be part of this. Give to the masjid as you are leaving. You give already, give again. Wallahi, there's no limit. When you give again and you deprive yourself, wallahi, everyone, if you were to give $1,000, or $100 or $10, it will not take away anything from you in terms. It will not decrease from you anything. It will increase for you the barakah of Allah. Use this opportunity to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Feed a poor, clothe a poor, look at the child who is in need, and make that child put on a smile on the face of that child. May Allah bless you. May Allah protect all of you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your children. Forgive your parents. Allahumma arhamhuma kama rabbayana saghira. Oh Allah, have mercy upon our fathers and our mothers, as they were very merciful and loving and kind to us. When we were small, when we were babies, Almighty Allah. Oh Allah, they have deprived their own self and they show preference to us, oh Allah. Oh Allah, see them now not in a state of want. So even accept that you may comfort them with mercy, with forgiveness, O Almighty Allah. Take away their pains and suffering and their sickness, O Almighty Allah. If they have gone to the great beyond, O Allah, turn to them in a state of forgiveness and elevate their souls into Jannatul Firdaus, O Allah. Let their graves be like one of the gardens of paradise, O Almighty Allah. O Almighty Allah, we ask you, we beg of thee, to make their graves spacious for them, O Allah. O Allah, our brother Imam from this masjid, this community, his father has returned to you and he is now in your care, O Allah. Forgive him and see him not with his sin or mistake that he has committed. Save and accept that you may turn to him now and you may wash away his sins, O Allah. You may purify him, O Allah, and you will elevate him into Jannatul Firdaus. Ma'an Nabiyina wa Siddiqina wa Shuhada, among the prophets and among the pious and among the martyrs, O Almighty Allah. O Almighty Allah, we ask thee, Allahumma hdi shabab al-Islam wal-Muslimin. We turn to you and we ask of you, O Allah, to bless the youth of this community and the youth of our ummah of Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. O Allah, bless our children, O Almighty Allah. O Allah, save them and protect them from the fitna, from the destruction of this community, O Almighty Allah, and from the evil, O Almighty Allah. O Allah, bless all the youth who are here in this masjid at this time. Protect them and bless them and guide them, O Almighty Allah. O Allah, قُلْتَ وَقَوْلُكَ الْحَقِّ, you are the one who said in your Quran, وَوَعَدُكَ, and your promise is a wa'ad, that you will answer our supplication, O Allah. O Allah, we turn to you, we ask of you on this blessed day, that please do not return or reject our dua. Say for next step, you will answer it, O Almighty Allah. O Allah, from us is this dua. We supplicate from the depth of our heart, O Allah, and from you is the ijabah, is the reply or response. O Allah, accept from us. We beg of you, O Allah. Ameen. Ibadullah, Rahimana wa Rahimakumullah. May Allah have mercy upon all of us. Inna Allah ya'muru bil adli wal ihsan. Allah commands us to be justice, to deal with justice at all times. We must be justifiable in all our acts of life, to be kind and to show love. وَإِذَا إِذِ الْقُرْبَى وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ. Allah prevents us from doing anything that is sinful, anything that is disgraceful. وَإِذَا إِذِ الْقُرْبَى وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ وَلَذِكْرُ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى أَكْبَرُ. And know that the remembrance of Allah, be conscious of Allah at all times. He is looking over us, He is seeing us, He is close to us. He is closer to us than our geography. He is aware of all our needs and our wants. Call upon Him, and He will answer you. وَدْعُوهُ يَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ وَلَذِكْرُ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى أَعْلَى. And know that the remembrance of Allah is the greatest thing. It is the most important thing for you to be conscious of Allah. The zikrullah means that you are conscious of Allah. And ta'bud Allah ka'annaka tarahu, to worship Allah like He is seeing, that you're seeing Him in front of you. But you will not see Him. But know that He's seeing you. So if Allah is seeing you, then be conscious of Him. Be afraid of Him. When I intend to do a wrong, I look back and I think, is this the wrong or a right? When I know it's a wrong, I do not proceed. Stop. Be conscious of your duties to Allah. Remember your parents. Serve your parents. Allah will bless you. Be kind to the orphans. Be kind to your neighbors. Share with your neighbors. Always give good advice to people. And always try to smile in the face of others. May Allah help you. May Allah bless all of us. You are a loving community. May Allah cause us to take the barakah of this Jumu'ah into our homes, and may our homes be bright and lighted like this light that is given us, this resource at this moment. Happy Muslim. Let us now stand to pray and to demonstrate our obedience to Allah.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.